sound. I wanna change everything. I wanna know it, feel it, take it all. I wanna fix everything. But the hardest part of this is to take who you are and change what you need. Stuck in a place you're not meant to be. Take all your doubts, take it from me. You made sure to change, now be your
Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Araya Swift Lifestyle Pro Series here in Brooklyn, Michigan, the Irish Hills of Michigan. This is race number 3 of 5 in our Swift Lifestyle Pro Series playoffs. We have the Irish Hills 150. I'm Miroslav, your lead announcer, and joining me in the booth as always is Jacob Bell and executive producer Harold Garner. How's it going, guys?
Oh, it's going good, Hunter. Happy to be here for race number 15 of our season, race 3 of our playoffs, the start of the round of 8. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep, definitely will. I've been to this track many a times in Brooklyn, Michigan. Being an Army recruiter, happened to be in the Jackson zone and Napoleon High School just around the corner from this racetrack. And the locals tell me the 2 times to take vacation, June and August.
Yeah, it's when the races are there, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Like their little city becomes enormous during those weekends. Otherwise, there's really nothing in that area at all. A little small airport and then Napoleon High School.
Well, it is certainly probably one of the most interesting racetracks we're going to go to on the schedule. We had Richmond last week, which I think is probably the polar opposite of this place when you consider the sizes of both those racetracks. Michigan, of course, being a 2-mile almost super speedway versus the short track we saw at Richmond to get to our final 8. And we'll get a chance to look at our points and everything a bit later on here, but definitely excited to get things underway. I know Hunter's getting his notes printed out, so he's going to run it and go pick those up really quick. So he's got some notes to look at here for our broadcast. So Harold, I'll ask you, what do you think tonight we're going to see out of this place?
Well, Michigan, is a wide racetrack, but deceptively wide coming out of turn number 2. And we talked about turn number 2 being Calamity Corner for all of our series, it seems. And here, turn 2, it's like almost 5 wide in the corner, and then all of a sudden it drops, to like 3 right there. I've actually been lucky enough to be in the infield camping in one of the years right there at the exit of turn 2 and watching the ARCA cars back when Aaron Crocker was, I'm going to date myself there, smacked that wall pretty hard, and Wallace's son was collected in that one.
Well, I think Hunter's back with his notes now, and he can tell us a little bit more about Michigan and some of the track facts we got here for tonight.
Yeah, the printer was out of paper, and then my notes came out with like a size 2 text, so it is very small for me to read, but nonetheless, I will make do of my situation. So we are at Michigan, and as Harold mentioned, this is one of those racetracks where turn 2, I'm getting PTSD just from talking about it, because it's been an issue the last 3 or 4 weeks that we've had in all 4 of our series.
Yeah, we just let the camera up on turn 2 so we could watch that while we're talking.
Yeah, it kind of bites you in the butt for your corner exit. Like it seems really, really wide, kind of like Auto Club, the other 2-mile track that we went to earlier this year. But then it sharpens up down the backstretch, and that wall just comes out and bites you. So
Yeah,
we
no,
have
I agree. I wanted to touch on that too, there, Hunter. That
yeah.
it's going to definitely be a trouble spot, and like you mentioned, the last few weeks, it's what we've seen at Richmond, and now we're here at Michigan, which is just much bigger racetrack. So I think the speeds are going to be a lot higher here tonight. You already see the lap times they're turning with Travis Beckner right now posting the quickest lap time at 39.164. But it's going to be something to watch out for, man, all night long.
And we're seeing it right now. Just that was, I believe that was Caleb Steimer just scraping the wall. Some of these drivers, they're going to get into that upper groove to try and generate a run and propel them down the backstretch, and they might clip themselves into the outside wall, and we could see them. We'll see it right here. I think that's a 4 of Paul Irvin
Well,
just scraping the wall.
I think their saving grace out here tonight might be this overcast sky that we're seeing. Obviously, without that sun beating down and really raising up the track temp, it's going to be a little bit lower with these clouds out here, kind of guarding that from that track heating up too much. So that'll allow these race cars to have a little bit extra grip throughout these corners and be able to make the moves they're going to need to make throughout tonight's 75 lap race.
You have 75 laps, 150 miles on this 2-mile D-shaped oval. The other replicate of its kind is Auto Club, and that was a race we went to way early in the year. I believe that was race number 3 of the season. Actually, that was in the other. That was in the other series. My apologies. But Jake, you were in that Sim Speed Shop race at Auto Club. What's it going to be like for these drivers tonight at a similar racetrack?
Well, ultimately at Auto Club, it actually came down to fuel in the Cup Series race when we were there. So I'm curious to see if it's going to be like that tonight. We saw our fuel window is about 30 to 35 laps, so more than likely it's going to be a 2-stop race for everybody. But there is a chance with a few lucky cautions they might be able to stretch it on just one stop. So there's a chance we could see what we saw in Auto Club earlier in the season in the Cup Series and have it be a fuel mileage type of finish. But ultimately, I think the draft, this is one of the bigger racetracks we've gone to all season long. You're going to have the long straightaways. These cars are going to create a big hole in the air and create a lot of draft, and these guys will be able to use that to really pick up some speed.
We might be seeing tonight is the snake method, where we'll see it in the big races for NASCAR, and then even the Indy 500, where drivers will move in a snake pattern down the straightaways to try and break up the draft, and then the drivers behind still want to get a piece of the draft will follow in, and looks like a snake moving up and down. As you mentioned the track, it's partly cloudy in Brooklyn, Michigan, and we'll take a look at our weather presented by LoudysTravelWorld.com to see what we are looking at. The Irish Hills 150, so it's mostly cloudy. Air temp 75, track temp 79, humidity at 43%, the winds moving from the southwest at 4 miles an hour. And I expect it to stay mostly cloudy for the entirety of the race.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, that track temp being down at 79, that's a huge break for these guys versus, we've seen 110, 115 degrees at the track temp at some other places. So that cooler temperature is definitely going to allow these guys to do a little bit of extra grip in their race cars.
And speaking of extra grip, one of our playoff drivers, I was in yesterday with Dominic DeLeo and Mark Patterson as was watching the clash and listening to them working on their setups during practice. They were running in the 39.1s that Dominic and Mark had in their setup. Although Mark is at a 39.4, Dominic DeLeo, the third quickest, at a 39.1. And we reshuffled these points because it's a new round. It's the round of 8. And he's currently dead last in the points because of that reset. But he had a great first 2 rounds, or first 2 races in our previous round.
Yeah, I think DeLeo is definitely going to have to kind of crawl himself back into that top 4. We saw him with a good run in the round of 12. He was able to jump, I think, all the way up to 5th in points and really pretty easily make it to this round of 8. But with the points resetting with the playoff points, like you mentioned, now he's got to start all the way back over again. He's going to be down as the 8th seed, I believe, when we get a chance to take a look at our points here. And he's going to have to make up all that ground all over again to try to break his way into the top 4. There we go. You got DeLeo down there in P8. But most importantly, Hunter, the big thing I'm looking at is just that 4th through 8th position. From Gary Lewis on back, only 6 points separating those drivers. And obviously that 4th spot is going to be the one everybody's gunning for.
Yeah, for sure. And we see the the Sean Corcoran machine 1 point back, Caleb Steimer 2 points back in a controversial fashion to make it into the round of 8. Don't know what his night's going to be like. And then Eli Green 4 points back, and then we mentioned Dominic DeLeo 5 points back. But I'm looking at James Shane Wolf. He's really on a hot streak right now. He's got 2 wins in a row, and could he make it 3 in a row tonight in Michigan?
You know, he looks strong right now. He's second in practice. He is the quickest among the playoff drivers, which is a pretty important thing to note there. But I think really for Matthew Robinson and James Shane Wolf both, those playoff points that they have going into tonight, I think that'll really give them enough cushion to be able to just not make any mistakes tonight and go into Kansas next week and just have a solid race and pretty easily lock themselves into Final Four. But definitely can't afford any mistakes for either of those drivers.
We'll see what qualifying brings out because practice is about over. And we're going to transition into our qualifying for 2 laps here at Michigan. Really quick, wanted to point out Travis Beckner, the highest in practice and the highest non-playoff driver, ran a lap time below a 39.1. There was a 39.099, which is the quickest time that we've seen here tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if he can carry that over to qualifying as it just got underway here. Caleb Steimer, one of the participants in the round of 8, is going to be the first one to jump out on track, it looks like, in that number 18 car. Walton, Kentucky native, and it looks like he might have to reset potentially. We'll see if they gave him a black flag or not there for coming onto the track a little too early. Looks like he's good because he's staying in the gas, but we'll see what this 18 has here on lap number 1.
I'm going to say really quick in the back, that blue cone, you have to pass it before you merge onto the racetrack whenever you're coming out of pit road, even for qualifying.
Yep, and looks like iRacing did not catch him. Got away with one.
Yeah, I looked close, man. I saw him coming through turn 2. I thought maybe he had jumped that white line and crossed too high too soon, but looks like it's not going to be an issue as he's going to get here on lap number 1, get underway, and get really sideways through turn 1 and 2, but he's
really loose.
Trying to roll that top, though, Hunter, and just build up the momentum in that race car. I think that's going to be the strategy here. We've seen it all season long where lap 2 really seems to be the quicker of the first 2 laps. So as long as you can keep the thing underneath you and keep it straight, if you roll around the top, you should have a lot of speed built up for your second lap.
Wait, he's crabbing it, though. It looks like he's going to burn that right rear tire off. Don't usually do that when you're building up speed. You usually don't want to crab the car.
And we see it on lap 1, kind of cost them some time at 39.9 to Dustin Carroll's 39.4. So we're going to put the 92 on pole for the moment, but obviously only 2 cars have posted a lap time.
Car is looking loose.
Loose is fast, I was told.
Indeed it is, but there's a certain loose that you cannot handle in a race car. And he's really close to that wall going through turn 4, because if you hit the wall, your lap time will not count. Now you can go and run the apron, and it'll improve his lap time to the top of the charts at the 39.439, just 1/1000th better than the number 92 of Dustin Carroll.
I'd watch Forrest Smith, though, working on his second lap, because I know he posted a pretty sporty first lap in that number 84 car, and I think he's going to be coming around here to complete his second lap. We'll see if he's able to pick up any, and he does by a good margin. 39.29 for the 84 Forrest Smith jumps him up to the first spot.
Forrest Smith, another one of our playoff drivers to keep an eye on, because he's really flying under the radar in my eyes. He's actually my pick to win the championship. I feel like he can upset both Shane Wolf and Matthew Robinson.
Yeah, he's been so consistent all season long, Hunter, and to his credit, teammate Gary Lewis has also been very consistent. But with Forrest, you know, where Gary's getting top 10s, Forrest most of the time is getting top 5s, and I think that might be the difference that kind of pushes him over the edge, as you said, and maybe a potential championship in Phoenix in 2 weeks. But he's got to make it there first, Hunter. He's got to get to that Final Four spot.
Absolutely, but once you make it to that Final Four, anything can happen, as we see in real-life NASCAR. Most recently in the Xfinity Series, Daniel Hemrick hadn't won a race all year, banging with Austin Cindric in a photo finish, got his first win of the year, and got the championship. So really anything goes once you're in that championship 4, because all it comes down to is the highest finisher amongst the championship 4.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that race goes down. We kind of got a little preview last week with Richmond and just seeing some short track tempers there, but honestly, it wasn't as crazy maybe as some people expected, including myself, as Paul Irvin crosses the line to complete his first lap. But obviously, the tensions weren't as high to make the round of 8 as they're going to be to win the championship.
Tensions are higher for Dominic DeLeo to make it to the championship 4. As we mentioned, he is now dead last in the points because of the reset, but he had a really nice, solid 2 races at Atlanta and Richmond. So he's looking to build up speed. Here, come to the green flag for his qualifying time. And his teammate, Mark Patterson,
jumped to second.
Second on the board with a 39.393. And as I mentioned, I was in the lobby with them because I had assumed they were in a Discord watching the clash. But turns out they were working on their setups and heard Dominic DeLeo, and he was third fastest in practice. He was in the 39.18, which is around where he was at yesterday. Patterson might have been 0.2 off, which is looking similar to his qualifying time, but nonetheless still pretty fast cars for Fasicas Motorsports.
Yeah, I think they definitely prepare every week. As we see Paul Irvin and Sean Corcoran now jump to the front row. But Dom and Mark Patterson have definitely been preparing all season, before each race. They spent a lot of time practicing. As DeLeo turns a 39.25 on his first lap, Hunter, that's a pretty fast lap number 1. So I assume here from the second lap, we might see the number 21 jump into the top of the charts.
Yeah, we will see. His practice time was a 39.189, and just 8/1000ths off that time is Paul Irvin, who's currently at the top of our charts with still over 4 minutes left in qualifying.
We'll see if Dom can hold on to it here. He's really pushing it through turn 3 and 4. We're going to see him drop down to the apron to try to gain as much speed as possible, using that mannequin to come down the straightaway a little bit, and he picks up, it looks like, but not enough to take the top.
A flat 39.2, 3/1000ths off that pole time, but nonetheless still a good time for Dominic DeLeo, but a better time. Actually, we got a tie for the pole. James Shanewolf went to the top, but he posted the same time as Paul Irvin, so both with a 39.197, but James Shanewolf is propelled to the top of the charts.
Yeah, and that's kind of a double whammy there for DeLeo, because if he would have gotten the pole, it would have been an additional bonus point. And you mentioned he's the 8th-seeded driver, really needs to get as many points as possible and try to make his way back up in the standings. That bonus point there would have helped. Looks like the 31, though, James Shanewolf, right now is going to be the guy who's going to be taking that bonus point for the pole time.
And this is a driver we also need to keep an eye on, because he's not eligible for the playoffs and he's not championship eligible, but he's proven to be one of the faster cars week in and week out amongst the field, even those that are not in the playoffs, and that's Travis Beckner, and he put the fastest time up of any driver with a 39.099. Just seems to me like he gets better and better every week.
I think so. I think that's a good point there, because he's definitely, kind of steadily made his way closer and closer to the front of the field. We saw Watkins Glen. He was actually able to break through and get his first career win there, and it was on a road course. And for somebody like Travis, not a road racer to his own admission. So it's pretty impressive to see him go out there and beat some pretty talented road racers, and then also be extremely competitive in the truck series all season long as well.
I don't know if every driver has done this in their first lap, but he is running closest to the wall than any other driver I've seen. That is, in my definition, the Larson line.
I think it's the right move, though, and honestly, I probably would have even kept it up close to the wall, crossing the stripe there to complete lap 1. But what he's doing basically there, Hunter, is just building up the heat in that race car and the tires, and just trying to keep the speed built up in that thing to set up for a nice lap number 2. So the flip side to that, though, is that obviously you saw his lap 1 time has him down in 13th right now, so you're not really going to gain in terms of positioning on your first lap. You're really kind of putting all your eggs in that basket for the second lap.
So he's rolling through turn 4 now. He's going to come down the front stretch and complete his qualifying run. It does look pretty fast. We'll see where it puts up on the charts here. The 45 goes to P6, so a 39.286 for Travis Beckner, and a little slide there afterwards.
Yeah, that was shocking. I thought he did everything right. It looked like there, and just wasn't enough. but still look how close these times are, Hunter. You mentioned the tie for the pole, but from first place all the way down to seventh, less than a tenth of a second separating our times.
Yeah, and including the fourth and fifth position between Sean Corcoran and Matthew Robinson, those two separated by 3/1000ths as well. And also kind of shocking to see Matthew Robinson fifth in qualifying. We know he's got a fast car in qualifying. He's up there along with Shane Wolf, but shocking to see him in fifth.
Yeah, I think I think Robinson, Hunter, we kind of saw it last year. I'm going to take our viewers way back when we were covering the late model series on this same Twitch channel. Robinson was super fast all season long, but it kind of seemed like towards the latter half of the season, James Shanewolf started building up some momentum and kind of stole the championship away. And it's almost like we're seeing a repeat of that this season.
Deja vu. I was going to say, it feels like deja vu because Shane Wolf, he's on a 2-race winning streak and he's looking to get 3 in a row. And Matthew Robinson, last time he was on a 2-race winning streak was early in the season when he won at Homestead in Iowa. So looking to see if he can go on a winning streak of his own and dethrone Shane Wolf as qualifying wraps up, and we'll get our starting lineup ready. Yeah, Shane Wolf is staying hot. So that's going to be his third pole on the year, which ties Matthew Robinson. And here we go. Your starting lineup for the Irish Hills 150 at Michigan. On the pole, playoff driver and the hottest man on the racetrack, James Shane Wolf, and alongside him, the 4 of Paul Irvin.
Row 2's got a couple guys trying to break into the top 4, and Dominic DeLeo and Sean Corcoran in the 22.
Row number 3, we're going to find points leader heading into tonight's race, Matthew Robinson, and then alongside him, Travis Beckner in the 45.
Forrest Smith, right now, one of the drivers that has a top 4 spot. He's going to look to hold on to it, leaving Michigan tonight. Starting outside of him is going to be Eli Green.
Row number 5, we're going to find Adam Capps in the 55, and alongside him, teammate of Dominic DeLeo in Fazekas Motorsports, Mark Patterson.
Row 6 has got a new set of faces in J.J. Wang and Caleb Steimer. Both of them are teammates, however, the 18, the only one right now that still is remaining playoff eligible.
Row 7, we're going to find the 92 of Dustin Carroll, not Nolan Carroll, Dustin Carroll, and then alongside him, the 87 of Nick Halda.
Eric Shugart making his return to the series is going to roll off 15th tonight. Outside of him is going to be Jeremy Horn in the 81.
Row number 9, the deepest in the field for playoff drivers, Gary Lewis. And then alongside him, Cliff Mullins also coming back. Always good to see Cliff Mullins racing in the Araya Leagues.
Then rounding out our top 20 tonight is going to be Rick Christensen in that number 19, alongside Rick Ward in the 34 car. That completes our top 20 starters here tonight, and I believe that's what we got. Yeah, no 21st tonight, so we got 10 rows, and we're lined up, and looks like they're getting ready to roll off of pit road.
Yeah, they're single file on pit road.
Yeah, they had them staggered. They were sideways there, coming up to.
Ah,
so
okay.
Pretty cool little start there, and get to see James Shane Wolf rolling them off, but. Obviously, Hunter, we do the same thing every week, so I'm going to get the chat involved, and I want to ask everybody tuning in who their pick is for the win tonight. And I'll toss it to you, Hunter, to see who you got.
I'm going to go with Forrest Smith. I feel like he's got something that these front 5 or so that they don't have. So I'm looking at Forrest Smith in 84 to win tonight.
Well, I don't know if I got my pick yet, so I'll let Harold go. See who he's taking tonight.
I'm going to go with the young 45, Travis Beckner.
That's a good pick.
Ooh, Travis Beckner. Okay, solid.
I think we talked about Matthew Robinson was hot earlier in the season, and now James Shane Wolf seems to be coming on strong. I think Robinson, though, is going to reverse the script on him. I think the 40 goes to the victory lane.
All right, so our picks are starting 5th, 6th, and 7th, which I was hoping for. After Harold made his pick, I was hoping for that. So we got 20 drivers in the field tonight, 75 laps here in Michigan for the Irish Hills 150. Only 3 races to go in the regular season, well, in the season in general for the Sweat Lifestyle Pro Series. Pace truck pulls into pit road, and race leader James Shane Wolf brings the field to the green flag here in Michigan.
pretty good start there for the 31 of James Shanewolf, but now he's got the 4 of Paul Irvin, who's making a dive to the inside. I'm not even sure if the 31 there led that lap. It was tight between the both of them. It looks like he barely got it. But Paul Irvin looking to take away the top spot.
Down low and completes the pass there in the middle of 1 and 2. Before Paul Irvin going to the lead. Battle for third now. Soon to be battle for second. Matthew Robinson's on the charge on the outside. Passing the 21 to Leo, and now on the outside of Shinwolf going into turn 3. Blinking in and out, though.
Still side by side up front. I'm curious to see where that preferred lane is going to be. Is it going to be on the bottom? Is it going to be on the top? Obviously, you're going to have the big runs on the straightaway. This time around, I think Shanewolf might have barely got him again at the stripe, but Paul Irvin still making a heavy charge.
Yeah, really close racing here for this top 6, and amongst those, Eli Green needing a good run along with Dominic DeLeo in the points, so very early on, but these guys trying to get their positions set for the long haul.
It looks like Robinson now comfortably going to move into that second spot as Paul Irvin continues to show the way. Finally, no competition for Paul Irvin. He's finally got it to where he's single file out front. But the battle's going on behind them for the 5th spot between Dom DeLeo and Travis Beckner, and they can win lap number 3.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides if you're going side by side on the straightaway, because if you don't have any sort of draft or any tow going with you, then you're kind of screwed if you're on the bottom, because that top groove is just seems to be where the drivers go the most down these straightaways. So we're looking still the 4, Paul Irvin continuing to lead. Robinson in second, Shane Wolf third, and then Eli Green in 4th. At that battle for 5th still heating up between Dominic DeLeo and Travis Beckner.
Yeah, DeLeo is kind of getting a little bit more aggressive with the 45. I don't think he wants to let him by it. I think he saw, what we saw is they're going 2 wide in front of him and 3 wide behind them now between the 45, the 55, and the 21 off of turn 2. Beckner has to throw a late block over his teammate Adam Capps there, but they're still side by side all throughout the back half of the top 5 here. Eli Green now looking underneath James Shanewolf for 3rd.
Oh, now the 4 of Paul Irvin starting to blink in and out. We got back to the battle for, I believe that's 4th now. Oh no, 5th, excuse me.
You got the battle for 3rd on your screen though. Eli Green jumped in here really late. I didn't see any practice laps for the 28, but he's able to run inside the top 5 still. James Shanewolf on the outside though, going to get a good run down the straightaway here. Still waiting on the ticker to pop up there, Harold, if you got the... There we go. Right on cue.
I was waiting on you to say, oh, where's that ticker? Bang! There it goes.
But yeah, Shanewolf now comfortably is going to settle into 3rd. DeLeo's falling all the way back to 7th, Hunter.
Yeah, it's starting to get into this this portion of the race where we'll see drivers come and go through the field. We'll see drivers with short runs fade, and then drivers with the longer runs start to work their way up.
There's the 22. Sean Corker on another one of those drivers kind of in the same situation as Dominic DeLeo. He needs a strong run tonight to start building up the points to find his way inside the top 4. Right now, though, running behind Caleb Steinman. To the 18's credit here, Hunter. He kind of snuck into the playoffs last week at Richmond, but he's looking pretty sporty early on tonight.
Yeah, he's already up 4 spots from where he started. Caleb Steinman started 12th in the field. Meanwhile, Sean Corcoran started 4th, and he's dropped all the way back to 9th. So we see battle for 3rd still going on between Shane Wolf and Eli Green. Now we move back with Fort Smith and the 81 of Jeremy Horn. They're battling for the 11th spot, and just behind those two is the 00 of JJ Wang.
You know, I was going to say, up front, Paul Irvin is really looking good tonight, Hunter. And we've talked about him all season long since he's joined in. You know, when's he going to get that win? He's obviously got speed in that race car, and he's been up front. He made an exciting pass in Atlanta, a 4-wide pass to grab the lead, but wasn't able to get it done there. Maybe tonight's the night for Paul Irvin in that number 4.
Yeah, Paul Irvin, he couldn't get anything mustered up to catch up with Shane Wolf at Atlanta, but looking to have a bounce back here in Michigan. It looks like the 40 of Robinson's got a run, and he's going to make a move now, down low, going into turn 3.
Yeah, Robinson did a really good job building that momentum up, too. He didn't wait till the last moment to jump low. He kind of got that run built off of turn 2 and got all the way up to the back bumper of Paul Irvin at the very last moment, decided to make that pass.
Now this is where things get tight because you really can't push with these cars. And if you're the 4 of Paul Irvin, you have that run, but you have the 31 of Shane Wolf there to your inside. You kind of have to just hope for the best and just continue to push the car in front of you.
And now throw Eli Green in that mix as well. We got a 4-car tussle for the lead, and it was Matthew Robinson, and now it's James Shanewolf out front.
3 playoff drivers in this top 4, 4 in the top 5. Dominic DeLeo still holding on the 5th, but seems like a roulette of drivers going from 1st to 2nd and all the way back.
And it looks like a lot of fun too, Hunter, and it gets me excited because there is some exciting news that we're going to get to announce here pretty soon regarding next season, and just watching these guys and the way these race cars are racing. Already getting excited, and I'm liking what I'm seeing out front.
Yep, meanwhile back here, battle for 16 up between Adam Capps on the outside in the blue, and then down low is Travis Beckner in the 45, the green car.
Teammates there as well, so I guess not really teammates. Adam Capps more so the team owner there for Travis.
Oh, Capps got really high there.
Yeah, he did. Kind of settled out up front for a moment, but now they're right back to side-by-side racing. It looks like Eli Green looked below James Shanewolf and then didn't have the run on the straightaway. They settled back out, but those 4 drivers are definitely still tucked under a blanket together.
Takes a couple of laps or two to generate a run.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously when these tires start to fall off too, you're going to start noticing a lot more people sliding up off of turn 2 and into that outside wall that we touched on earlier.
And one thing I'm noticing too, behind these 4, Dominic DeLeo's pulled away now from the battle between him and Beckner and Adam Capps as well. They've settled out the battle now, but starting to see that 21 start to heat things up.
And the 31 now looking for the lead again, and I like the way you put it, Hunter. It's like a roulette up front. Who's going to lead every single lap in these top 4? That time, I think it might have been Shane Wolf by a nose. If not, it was close. But these guys are going for a few different bonus points here tonight, Hunter. Obviously, you get a lap led. You get a bonus point for that. But whoever leads the most laps gets an additional bonus point as well. And I think that's kind of what these guys are fighting so hard for.
So we see the battle still heating up for that lead. Shane Wolf on the bottom, Robinson on the outside, got Green and Paul Irvin behind. But Dominic DeLeo really starting to turn up some pretty good lap times, and it's due to these drivers going side by side for the positions in front of them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Once they get side by side like that, I kind of talked about that in practice. The hole that these cars will punch in the air going down the straightaway really allows the people behind them to get such a good draft off of them. Well, when they get side by side like that, that hole that they're punching in the air gets doubled essentially. So it's like an extra draft boost.
Oh, caution on the racetrack. Sean Corcoran and Nick Halda. We're going to take a look at our 1 to go replay.
Oh, man. You're right, though. Sean Corcoran was in it, Hunter, as we're taking a look at the replay real quick. You see Nicholas Halda is the yellow and black car right behind him, that 87. They get down into turn 3. And I believe Adam Capps there got a little high, had to check up, and as did the 22. And when he got on the brakes, there was just nowhere for Nick Halda to go. He gets into the back of him and turns him around.
Yeah, I saw a couple of laps ago that 55 washing up the racetrack in this battle between he and Beckner for the 6th position, but once again having a bit of an issue there on the outside in turn 1, and did not work out for Sean Corcoran, although it looked like minimal damage for the 22 and the 87.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a look here when they decide to come down pit lane on that damage to the 22, because hopefully it wasn't a ton. You really want to see these guys be able to fight for those playoff spots, and obviously the 22 now. I think you're right, Hunter. I don't see too much damage on that race car from what we're looking at right now on broadcast. The nose still looks pretty straight. I see some scrapes on the left side, but nothing too catastrophic, I don't believe, for Sean Corcoran.
Yeah, no, I thought the damage was going to be more severe, but the fact that both of these drivers, it looks like they just got some scrapes and a little bit of cosmetic, hopefully nothing interior. interior damage for either of these guys, but we'll see as they come down pit road along with the leaders. I believe Dominic DeLeo stayed out, though.
And
He
he's
is the only
staying out
one
to
to
lead a lap.
stay out.
Yeah, but everybody else coming down here, Hunter, I'm curious to see what the tire situation is here. We got James Chainwolf leading them down, Matthew Robinson, Eli Green. The entire field, with the exception of Dominic DeLeo, coming in now for their first pit stops of the night. And I see the right sides going up on the 31. I believe it's going to be a 4-tire stop for just about everybody.
We do have 3 tire sets, and the fuel window is around 30 to 35 laps, so we'll have to see what the 21 of DeLeo is thinking here. But if I had to,
I know exactly what he's thinking.
I think my first guess would be tires.
No, DeLeo is just staying out because he wants to get that bonus point for leading a lap. Because like we said all night, he's the 8th place driver. So him doing that, he gets out front, he leads that lap. He'll probably come down now, I assume. But either way, even with these pit stops that these drivers just made, they're still going to have to make an additional stop for fuel before the end of this race. So there's a chance I see DeLeo stay out here, but I think he'll come down and get his service done this time.
I would much rather stay out and fall through the field rather than having to work my way up from the back of the field, because we saw Gary Lewis started deepest in the field amongst all playoff drivers at around, I believe, 18th? Yeah, 18th, and he's only up to 15th.
Let's see here if DeLeo decides to come in, but like I said, still got a pit stop left. He actually does stay out, so he's not going to come down pit road. And we touched on that fuel window, Hunter. We saw, 30 to 35 laps on fuel, we were thinking?
30, well, I was thinking 30 to 35, and Harold told me 30 to 35. So I just had a guess, and it was right on the money.
Well, basically, though, with these caution laps, you can kind of, save a little bit of extra fuel under the yellow flag. So with that, under consideration, there's a chance that maybe DeLeo makes it to around lap 38 if he can stretch it, and then that could be his final pit stop from there. But he's still going to need, I think, at least one more caution.
I'm looking here. Gary Lewis starts 17th, and that's even after he's only up 2 spots, and that's after Sean Corcoran and Nick Halda were involved in the first caution. So definitely something to keep an eye on. But really, I'm glad that the 21's staying out, because that would have been a tough position to be in, trying to work their way up through the field.
And this is going to be our first look also on how these old tires will compare to the newer tires of James Chainwolf and Paul Irvin.
Yeah, but this will put DeLeo in a good situation if this goes on a longer run, and if we get a late race caution, and he might be the only driver with a set of tires left.
No, I don't think so, because I think they're only going to pit 2 times at most tonight. You know what I mean? So everybody should have at least a set left over by the end of this thing. But we'll see. Who knows?
Yep, Pace Truck brings it down pit road once again, and the 21 of Dominic DeLeo on older tires will lead the field to the green flag once again here in Michigan. Well, that flagman is pumped to be waving that green flag. So we're already seeing the 4 of Irvin looking down low on DeLeo going into turn 1.
Oh,
4 wide. Oh, contact. It looked like the 4 sideways. Back in the track. The 45 of Beckner collected. Multiple cars involved in turn 2. The caution's back out once again at Michigan.
And that was a big hit for a lot of drivers there, Hunter, and maybe the break that DeLeo needed there. We'll get a look here at the replay, but that was wild there for a second as they entered turn 1 and 2. I was worried, Hunter, that with these old tires that DeLeo might be a little bit too slow and too off pace. We saw the time slow down over a second on that green flag run, but let's see what happens.
It looked like they went 4 wide in the middle of the corner, and exactly what they were, 4 wide, and just that small contact between he and DeLeo. Boy, Beckner just got clipped. Massive hit there on the driver's side. Adam Capps nowhere to go. The 22 of Corcoran spinning. A number of drivers just getting collected in this, and a number of drivers barely getting away with anything.
I think Paul Irvin made the decision there that he didn't want to take out a playoff driver in terms of Dom DeLeo. So he really tried to just make the wreck as small as possible, but ultimately the overcorrection from the number 4 is what
Just that
really
small
turned this thing up.
contact too. And oddly enough, the 4 got loose after hitting the quarter panel of the 21. Really shocking to see him get sideways and not the 21 of the Leo.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think as soon as he saw them getting close, he decided to try to do his best to stay off the 21 even more because he knew that it would ultimately lead to the 21 going around.
Right here, the 45 just getting clipped. I mean, barely getting clipped, and the 18 of Steimer barely avoiding the 4 of Paul Irvin.
That was a break for the 18, Hunter.
And Forrest Smith right behind him, too. Both these guys doing a good job to avoid the wreck. That was our one-to-go replay presented by Northern Capital. We would like to thank Russ and Steve Anderson of Northern Capital for their continuous support of the Northern Capital Chuck Series and from all of us here at Araya. And you catch tomorrow night's Northern Capital Chuck Series broadcast at Michigan as they will take on their round of 8. Should expect some similar racing between the 2 series that we're watching tonight and tomorrow, and that's at 8:40 Eastern on the Uriah Twitch channel. It looks like DeLeo came down wasting no time on those older tires after what occurred and brought her down pit road. Still got a number of drivers on Perez. It looks like Adam Capps, Paul Irvin, Rick Ward, Nick Halda, and Travis Beckner. Quarter of our field looks like they were involved in that yellow. My boy, big damage to the 4 of Paul Irvin. That right front is gone. Fortunate that no playoff drivers were involved, but great job from Caleb Steimer in that wreck avoidance. Because that could have collected him, and it could have collected the car behind him, which was Forrest Smith. So 2 playoff drivers, both getting away with minimal damage. The lights on the pace truck go out. The leader is the 31 of James Shanewolf in the middle of that 4-wide battle, which we completely forgot about because of the caution in turn 2. But Shanewolf is the leader. Eli Green down on the bottom, and Shanewolf can choose which lane he wants to be in, and then he's choosing the outside. So interesting choice there by the 31 of Shanewolf. So it looks like Rick Ward and Nick Halda are back on the racetrack with Beckner, Irvin, and Cap still in pit road, servicing their race cars.
Man, that was a lot to process there in a span of about 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. But once again, Paul Irvin was in a 4-wide situation, but the outcome didn't go in his favor. And then turn 2, once again, a trouble spot, but not in the place that we expected. We expected drivers to get close to that wall and to hit it coming out of the corner.
Well, there is one thing for sure, Hunter. He definitely hit the outside wall in turn 2. I just don't think it was the way we expected, like you said.
No, not at all. So the pace truck going to bring it down pit road once again. This time, Shanewolf going to restart on the outside. Starter has the green flag in his hand, and once again, we are green flag racing at Michigan.
He's letting it rip. Flagman and James Shanewolf. He gets a great jump on the restart. He's going to pull about 3 or 4 car lengths on second place Eli Green.
Yeah, another good restart there from the 31 is Shanewolf, who had the initial lane of choice on the bottom for the start of the race. That battle for third going on between the 40 of Robson and the 18 of Caleb Steimer, with Jeremy Horn right behind the 2. So it looks like Adam Capps has come off of pit road, although he is 18th 2 laps down. Saw the 45 and the 4 down on pit road. Looking back now, that is the 00 JJ Wang and the 69 of Gary Lewis. New paint scheme for Gary Lewis there.
almost didn't recognize him.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter because One Mic to Design changed their name.
Team Transcendent now. What we're going to be seeing next season here in area. Got a battle going on between one of the Transcendent cars and the 92 of Dustin Carroll down low. Outside of him can be Rick Christensen in the 19, and I don't think we'll see the 19 up front in too many laps. I don't think it'll take him too many laps, I should say, to get up front, because he started at the back, Hunter, but he's worked his way up inside the top 10.
Definitely a driver we might have to keep an eye on as this race goes on. And another driver we're going to keep an eye on right behind, 21 Dominic DeLeo is back inside the top 10.
Yeah, DeLeo having a solid rebound. Obviously, he pitted into that last caution because he didn't pit on the first one. But up front, it's Eli Green putting a little bit of pressure there on James Chainwolf. He gave him a shot going down into turn 3. He wasn't able to make the pass, so now he's going to follow suit down the front straightaway. And we got our top 3 guys single file. Pretty much nose to tail. As you can still see on the screen here, the 92 there, trying to make something work, but it's back up front here with Eli Green. And how about Caleb Steimer in the top 5?
Yeah, Caleb Steimer had that big wreck avoidance. I mean, barely getting away with it after nearly colliding with the 4 of Paul Irvin. And that helped out Forrest Smith too, although he's 6th, because Forrest Smith was right behind the 18 when that incident occurred. So could have ended both of their days, but they're both still running 5th and 6th at the moment. 28 of Eli Green all over the bumper of Shane Wolf. He's going to make a move now going into turn 1.
I'll tell you what a time would it be for Eli Green to get his first win of the season here tonight at Michigan.
Absolutely. Could be any of these guys. Could be Eli Green, Caleb Steimer, Forrest Smith, Dominic DeLeo, Gary Lewis, or even Sean Corcoran. Any one of these guys can go in and win, and then just immediately lock themselves into the round of 4, or the championship 4. We'll see side-by-side battle to the line. I feel like we might see a photo finish because we've seen a number of times already where it's been a slim margin as to who led what lap. But that time it was Shane Wolf, although Green has the preferred line.
He's going to slide up. He almost tried to slide in front of him. Wasn't able to do it.
Going to get back in line here is now the 40 and the 81 continue to battle for 3rd. That's Jeremy Horn.
Where did he come from?
Yeah, Jeremy Horn has found himself in the mix after battling with Caleb Steimer. Steimer right behind these front 4. Horn all the way down on the apron. Still single file up top, and now the 81 trying to cut in the middle. He's starting to make that bottom work.
Yeah, but the problem there with the bottom is coming off of turn 2, you just want to slide back up in line, and that time the 40 of Matthew Robinson was already outside of him, so he wasn't able to do that, costing a little bit of speed down the straightaway.
Ooh, he's starting to slide up again.
Yeah, I think he'll lose a lot of time here, though, with those 3 cars lined up like that on the top side of the racetrack. They'll just draft each other right past the 81 of Jeremy Horn down low.
He's still holding his own, though, on the bottom.
Yeah, he wasn't cleared there by the 40 of Robinson. We'll see if he can tuck back up.
Oh, he's trying. Nope. Couldn't do it. He made a little move there, but it wasn't enough. And now the 40's starting to lose some of that ground that he had.
And right now, man, Jeremy Horn's like a thorn in the side of Matthew Robinson there. He's just not letting them get clear. Side drafting them down the straightaway, and it's really affected both those guys' speed as they come off the corners. And you can just see how much Eli Green and James Chainwolf, they're just able to drive away as long as they stay nose to tail like that.
Yeah, it only hurts those two when they go side by side.
It's like finally Robinson though able to clear him around the top. I'm curious to see how he decides to get around the 28 of Eli Green, or if he decides not to make a move there.
I think they'll stay single file for the moment, although that 81 of Horn still ducking it down on the bottom. There you see the snake method starting to go with Shane Wolf. Getting a bigger run off the corner than the 28 of Eli Green, and Green actually clipped the wall there.
Yeah, I think that Shane Wolf kind of led him up to it, and I'm not sure if Shane Wolf tapped it or not there, but super light contact.
Oh, we got
like
loose.
that. Yeah, super light contact with the outside wall like that won't really affect these cars at all, especially the RC cars for whatever reason. These things are pretty durable.
Now we're starting to see more separation with this top 5.
Yeah,
Really starting to show up front, though.
Yeah, I was noticing Caleb Steimer was kind of falling off a little bit there. But now he's tucked right up behind the 81 of Jeremy Horn. There's the two-guard Shugart. I haven't mentioned his name yet tonight. He's battling with Cliff Mullins just outside the top 10. And then the really important battle is just in front of him with Gary Lewis in the 69. Oh, looks like Travis Becker coming back out on track there. Maybe a puff of smoke it looked like out of the 45. But this 69, man, of Gary Lewis, he's got to find a way to, work his way closer to the top 5 than what he's doing right now, because you got 7 playoff drivers that are inside the top 10, but 5 of them are inside the top 6.
And Gary Lewis was he only entered tonight's race, so only 1 point to the good. Looks like Beckner's back down pit road, but the one thing that is helping out Gary Lewis, in my eyes, he was the deepest driver in the playoff field starting tonight's race. Although he's in the 10th spot now, he started 17th, so massive gain there for the 69 Gary Lewis.
The big winner right now in terms of playoff positioning is Eli Green. He's running second. He was outside the top 4 coming into tonight. I believe he also has a lap led in that 28 car already, so that's a bonus point right there. And these kind of runs is what he's going to need to try to break into that top 4, and he's doing it so far tonight in Michigan.
We're continuing to look through our playoff field. Dominic DeLeo is now up to 7th, and Gary Lewis just passed the 92 of Dustin Carroll, so moved the 69 up to 9th and the 21 car up to 7th.
Cliff Mullins again working alongside the 2 of Eric Shugart. This battle just outside the top 10. Still no battle up front for the lead. Looks like Matthew Robinson maybe closing in a little bit on the back bumper of the 28 there of Eli Green, but they're still running single file and perhaps trying to just push that 28 back up to that top spot because they've started to lose a little bit of ground on the 31.
Yeah, Shane Wolf's starting to pull out now to about close to half a second between he and Eli Green, and we all know that 2 cars are better than 1 in the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that the top 5 is starting to fall apart a little bit. Look at Robinson now make the dive down low of Eli Green. I'm curious to see if Eli just lets him go or if he tries to power back on top.
He's going to hit the wall. He's in the wall, and Horn almost in the wall with him. So the 40 of Robinson goes to 2nd after that. Now the battle for 3rd between Eli Green and Jeremy Horn.
Green lost a lot of speed there when he got into the outside wall there in turn 4, but I was going to mention Caleb Steimer, man. He was well within this top 5, but he has fallen off the last 3 or 4 laps. He's over 2.5 seconds back now, and he's starting to get run down by the 21 of Dominic DeLeo, who's looking to break his way back inside the top 5.
Yeah, DeLeo just passed the 84 of Forrest Smith there for that 6th position, and he's within half a second now of the 18 of Steimer. Looks like 28's in the wall again. We're close to it.
Really starting to fight the handle of that car, especially in the exit of turn 4 there. So would assume that turn 2 coming up next is going to be a trouble spot for the 28 as well.
So he's still trying to put up a fight there with Jeremy Horn for the 3rd spot.
Like Caleb Steimer now is about to get the move from Dominic DeLeo as they enter turn 3 just behind these guys. DeLeo now back up to the back bumper of the 18. He's going to look low.
DeLeo on 4-lap fresher tires than the field, or for the majority of the field in front of him, and he clears him with ease. So 21 of Dominic DeLeo back inside the top 5, fastest car on the racetrack right now.
And DeLeo hit it under that last caution, so technically he does have the freshest tires on the racetrack, albeit just a half a lap of green flag racing for everybody else on their sets.
Looks like Forrest Smith there right behind. Going to make a move on the 18 of Steimer. We're starting to see the long runs. We're starting to see the long run cars start to charge towards the front, and it looks like the 18 might have a short run car, although still can't tell.
Yeah, I think he just really burnt up a lot of his tires early on in the run, trying to hang with that top four, and now it's the the con side of that kind of biting him as he's fallen back a little bit now into the clutches of the 19 of Rick Christensen. But DeLeo's impressing me. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think that the strategy would really work out the way it did for him by staying out that first caution and coming in just a few laps later. But apparently the tire difference is significant enough to where he's able to drive his way back inside the top five.
It looks like he's bringing Forrest Smith with him. Forrest Smith starting to tail along. These two getting closer and closer now to the continuous battle for third between Eli Green and Jeremy Horn. But up front, though, it's still James Shanewolf leading the way. And we're actually past our halfway point, so let's get this through with our past halfway rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that help improve your focus in gaming. Use the discount code on your screen, AREA iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. We would once again like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles for their continuous support of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. So James Shanewolf now starting to pull away from the field. It was a revolving door very early on. But now he's starting to put the hammer down. He's led 27 of our 41 laps at the moment. But really looking like one of the drivers to beat tonight. And another one of those, in the short run, Matthew Robinson, although he's only got 4 laps left, he's been inside the top 5 the entirety of the race. Although he is now dropping a second back, he's definitely one to not count out just yet.
Then behind him, a little bit out of nowhere, the 81 of Jeremy Horn, who's still battling with that 28 of Eli Green, so we're not entirely sure which one we're going to get to first here. Looks like it's going to be the 81 down low, but he kind of crept into the top 5 the last caution flag, and he's pretty much stayed put since then, and he's been impressive so far as he's still battling with that 28 for the third spot, but that 81 could be somebody to watch out for towards the end of this race. And then right in front of him, Eli Green, the 28, wasn't able to lead a lap, which could be a pretty significant point that he's not gotten yet, because he was outside of the top 4 coming into tonight and needs to find a way to try to point his way back in. And right behind him, you see the 21, one of the guys who's doing a great job tonight.
Yeah, Dominic DeLeo really having a solid night. After the points reset, he is last in the points heading into tonight amongst the playoff drivers, but really having a solid run, having top 5 speed as it's showing. Almost had a close call there from staying out, nearly being involved in that accident, but he got away and he pitted, and now he's got the fresher tires than the top 5 on the racetrack. And then right behind him, not too far from this, actually 7 car lengths back, Forrest Smith on the 81. Still with a solid run tonight, in the 6th position at the moment. He started 7th, so he stayed around where he's been at, but another one of these guys to keep an eye on, because his consistency might propel him into the championship 4.
Absolutely, and behind him, Rick Christensen, one of the faster drivers we saw in the early part of this season, kind of fallen off a little bit since he missed a few races towards the middle part of the season, but he's back here tonight in Michigan. Started 19th, worked his way up to 7th in that number 19 for Infinite Gaming. Behind him, Gary Lewis, the freshly painted number 69 car, still doing some battle with the 18 to Caleb Steimer, but Gary, another one of those drivers who's got that 4th spot in the playoffs. He's trying to hold on to Phoenix.
Right behind Caleb Steimer, he had a great record to stay in the top 5 for as long as he did after just barely missing the 4th Paul Irvin, but he's starting to fade a little bit, but he's still having a good run inside the top 10. And then the driver right behind him, Dustin Carroll, haven't heard too much of his name tonight, although, looks like 18 checking up in front of him. He's going to make a move now for that 9th spot, but he's been around the 10th spot, maybe a little bit outside the top 10, having a solid night in the new Transcendent design on that number 92. And that is your Swift Lifestyles past halfway rundown.
Man, this battle good between Dominic DeLeo and Eli Green has gotten a few
Robinson just
calls
pitted.
last lap. Oh, Robinson
Sorry.
pitted from
Yeah, Matthew Robinson just went down pit road.
I was just watching these two, though, battling for this 3rd spot, man. DeLeo tried to slide up in front of Eli Green on a few separate occasions, and it just wasn't working out. Close calls there. You see the 4 of Paul Irvin back on track, as well as the 87 of Nick Halderby. You mentioned it. Matthew Robinson, the first one of our lead lap guys to come down pit road for service.
Scheduled pit stop for Robinson. 30 laps splits the difference in the remaining laps.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Everybody up here still has to make another pit stop, for fuel. So curious to see when they decide to do it. I do like Robinson, though, trying to split it to the end of this race.
This is tight. This is something I did not expect to see. The lead lap cars battling with cars that are multiple laps down. They called 2 laps down. Oh, and the 4 Paul Irvin getting into Eli Green. He turns it down the straightaway into turn 1. The caution's out. Oh, and Eli Green. Oh, coming back up. 92. Oh, man. Well, that was something I did not expect to see, but we'll see it once again on our one-to-go replay presented by Sim Speed Shop. I mean, just close racing, but the 4th Paul Irvin is 17 laps down.
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional or what it was there, because I don't think Paul has any reason to try to turn the 28 there, but he definitely did. And pretty significant for a non-playoff driver to come in here and have that contact with somebody like Eli Green who's trying to fight to make it to Phoenix.
See, I don't think the first move was intentional, but it's just the second move. I can't tell if it's intentional or not. But I mean, the 4 of Paul Irvin, he's 17 laps down. He's last on the racetrack. I'm trying to think back to the caution that he was involved in. I don't remember him in the 28 having any contact. It was just the 21 and the 4, but very, very odd to see that there. And once again, something I did not expect to see, the lead lap cars battling with drivers multiple laps down.
Yeah, kind of.
So we're actually gonna go back to the replay of the caution, the second caution of the race. So 28's behind him, but I don't think they make any contact.
This was 2 cautions ago, like Hunter mentioned there, between the 4 and the 28 that could have potentially. Yeah, maybe there was some contact.
Maybe a little
there,
bit.
I didn't think that affected the 4. The big thing there for the 4 was the overcorrection. When he overcorrected the car, that's really what cost him. So I'm not sure if there was bad blood there between those 2 drivers or if that was just a close racing deal.
The way I saw that there, the number 4 was going to go underneath Dom DeLeo, and when he made that move out of the 28 was there already. He did not expect the 28 to be there.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm pretty sure he was caught off guard by the 4 wide, the unexpected 4 wide situation he would be in, and think he might have carried that over into what just occurred.
Yeah, looking at it again, like you guys said, it does look like it was just one of those close racing deals. And with these cars, as soon as those bumpers touch each other, it kind of sends the other one for a ride. And once that initial contact was made between the 4 and the 28, I think that's kind of what unsettled the 28's car and sent him right around.
So once again, replay was brought to you by Sim Speed Shop. We would once again like to thank Sim Speed Shop for their continuous support of the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series this season in Orion Racers. You can visit their website at www.simspeedshop.com to find multiple items to complete your virtual racing steps, such as button boxes, wheels, racing gear, and much, much more. That is www.simspeedshop.com. So it looks like we will have 25 laps to go when we go back green here. So if the lights go out on the pace car. So that really did not help the 40 of Matthew Robinson at all.
Because he lost all his track position.
He lost all his track position. However, he did get the free pass, so at least he's not a lap down. But he has to work his way back up inside the top 5 if he wants to have a solid finish.
Yeah, and honestly, the big benefit for that caution really kind of was the 31 of James Shanewolf, and then the 21 of Dominic DeLeo. He was able to drive his way back into the top 5 with fresher tires. Now everybody pitted under that last caution. They're good to go to the end, and it's just going to be some heads-up racing between the 21 of DeLeo and the 31 of James Shanewolf.
Eli Green, he's still in the 5th position. I don't know why. I find that odd because he did spin out. I don't know. Just weird to see him still in the 5th spot.
At the time of it, the caution that came out, he was in the 5th position, and he did get back on the racetrack. I'm not sure why that iRacing does that, but if you're able to get back rolling again, you might not lose very many spots.
You know what? Yeah, that does make sense now because he didn't stop. He kept going straight and cut right through the grass. I'm thinking back now. Thanks, Harold. So we'll have 25 laps to go when we go back green here in Michigan. The Irish Hills 150. Some exciting racing, some close contact racing, and some hard hits even. There we go, 25 laps remaining here in Michigan. James Shanewolf leading the field back to the green flag once again. Good jump by the 81 of Jeremy Horn. So he's now going to look to the inside of Shanewolf in the turn 1.
Jeremy Horn out of nowhere, man. He's looking pretty good tonight, Hunter.
Yeah, he was one of those drivers that could have made the playoffs, but missed it by a few points, and he's still showing speed in these playoffs. The highest of the non-playoff drivers in the field. Meanwhile, second highest is Eli Green, getting back around the 21 of Dominic DeLeo. So he's now on the bumper of 81 of Horn, but that's good. That's a good sign for the 31 of Shanewolf, because now they're going to be side by side going into turn 1.
Oh, man. Eli really slid up in front of the 81 there. Jeremy Horn made it a pretty tight situation between both those drivers.
This is really Dominic DeLeo back in.
Curious to see Matthew Robinson, too, like you mentioned. He left all that track position because of the untimely caution, having to work his way back through the pack. He's only up to 12th right now.
There's still over 20 laps left, so I mean, I wouldn't count Robinson out just yet, but we haven't really seen someone that far back work their way up. I mean, under Green.
Yeah, under one run. That's the hard
Oh! 81 got a little loose there underneath the 28 of Eli Green, who's now back in the battle for the lead. She's going to stay behind the 31 going into turn 3.
I'd imagine that 28 of Eli Green probably not super happy right now behind the wheel of that race car.
I'd be okay because he's still inside the top 5. He kept his car going. If he was back there with Matthew Robinson, then yeah, I would be a little bit upset.
Racing aggressive though. He's definitely trying to find a way to put a move on the 31 for the lead. But you mentioned it, 22 to go, man. Not a lot of time left. Robinson up to 9th, but still got a long way to go.
Robinson has a fast car every time we hit the racetrack, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's back in the lead before this race is over with. Top 2 now starting to pull away just a bit from the 81 of Jeremy Horn. Eli Green staying tucked in.
Yeah, he got so tucked in, I thought maybe he was going to try to make a move at the last one.
Oh, he's loose. He's loose. The 31 is loose. Close. Close to making contact there. 31 got a little loose, but not as loose as the 28 of Eli Green.
And watch the 28 there. It looked like he might have flat spotted the right front tire on a 28.
Flat spot. Did see smoke come out of the 28.
Well, what it did, though, was they gave that 81 a huge launch out of turn 2, and now he's going to be the one tucked up behind James Shanewolf. kind of really just one mistake away from any of these 4 drivers, and it's going to bring the next man up. And right now, it's Jeremy Horn.
Now that 81 car is not afraid to stick his nose down on the bottom.
And we saw him side by side earlier with Matthew Robinson for a handful of laps, and he held his own on the bottom. He's trying to do the same now for the race lead with James Shane.
Because unlike the playoff drivers, he's going for the win. He's not racing for points. So 81's going to do whatever he can to win.
Had a good run there through the middle of 3 and 4.
Oh, very, very close to making contact. Trying to side draft for 31 Shane Wolf. Shane Wolf will lead that lap with 81 with a strong run down on the inside going into turn 1.
He's got a chance to clear him here if he drives it in deep enough, and he's going to do exactly that.
Oh, Shane Wolf will try and cross him over.
There. And yep, Shane Wolf, like you mentioned, they're going to try to cross him over now, but I don't know if it's going to work.
He's got a run at it down low.
Now Shane Wolf has an opportunity. He can drive it in and try to slide up in front of Jeremy Horn. He's going to choose not to.
Oh, Horn's trying to get the run on the outside. He's washing up. Washed up there in the middle of 3 and 4, but a nice run from the 31 of Shane Wolf back in the lead. And it's like nothing ever happened because he's driven away so quick. Now Eli Green has a run on the inside. He's going to slide up. 81 trying to get a run down on the bottom.
It's crazy. We're at a 2-mile racetrack, and these guys are still finding a way to somehow throw a slide job each corner. Crossover works, so like you mentioned, Hunter, that's time Jeremy Horn's going to use it on Eli Green and get back around him.
Ooh, got a little loose there, 81 did. Now the 28 down low.
Wow. What a drive there from Eli Green to get the momentum rolling on the bottom and get back around him.
Now that is what the 31 of Shane Wolf wants to see. So now here comes Dominic DeLeo down on the bottom. He's going to pass the 81. Couldn't get a run on the 28, and now Horn going to have a run down low. Not quite.
And
So the 21 is Shane Wolf clears him. Oh, 20.
Sorry to cut you off there. I was going to say Robinson only up to 9th. He's definitely not looking like he's going to have enough time to get back up to the race lead.
Yeah, 3 seconds back now from the 31. At some point, the tires just start to even out, but I mean, who knows? A caution could occur at any moment.
I will say this, though, Hunter. Your pick of Forrest Smith is not looking too bad right now. If he's sitting back there and saving some tires, we know this top 4 are using about everything they got right now with the racing we're seeing up front. This could really open the door for Forrest Smith back there in 5th.
Yeah, and he's bringing his teammate Gary Lewis with him. I mean, Christensen's right behind him, but behind Christensen is the 69 of Gary Lewis. Gary Lewis up 10 positions since the start of the race. So now Dominic DeLeo with a run to the inside of Eli Green. Battle for second. So 31 of Shane Wolf continues to pull away.
Looks like Forrest Smith starting to reel him in, though. That 84 back there in 5th. It's closed in quite a bit the last 2 laps. These guys are racing tight. Looks like Green really washed up the race.
Oh, close to clipping the wall was Green. 21 of DeLeo with a big run down the back.
Now I'm curious to see if DeLeo's going to be able to fend off the charges that we've seen from both the 28 and the 81. This is the first time we've seen him in second place tonight. Does maybe he have something for race leader James Shane Wolf?
I think he might, and with these guys staying battle for that 3rd spot, we might see the 21 get up to the bumper of Shane Wolf.
Well, we've seen it a few times this season, Hunter, where the 31 of James Shane Wolf is notoriously kind of used his stuff up a little too quick in the later parts of the race.
I was going to say Shane Wolf just had a bad turn 1 there because the Leos gained about 2 car lengths through that portion of the track. I mean, they were 6 car lengths back at this point a lap ago, and now it's down to 2 car lengths. That 21 is hauling the mail. I mean, he is literally the fastest car on the racetrack right now.
He's looking good, man. He's going to have a shot at Shane Wolf here in the next lap or 2, it looks like.
Well, these two now have pulled away from Eli Green and Jeremy Horn. And once again, not too far back, just a second back from the 81 of Horn is Forrest Smith in the 84.
We also have some lap traffic, I believe, coming back up here.
I think that's the
Paul
4 of Paul. Yeah, it's the 4 of Paul Irvin once again. Wondering how that's going to turn out again, since the 28 of Eli Green is still in third. I see the 21 with a lower line going through the corner. Gets right up to that bumper.
The
Now
draft
Rick
these guys are getting,
Christensen.
though, from that lap car of Paul Irvin is kind of going to benefit the 31 of James Shanewood by having somebody to pull off of. Looks like lap car is going to go high this time, but I don't know if they're going to be able to clear him.
Oh, these guys are sliding up high. It's going to hurt the leader more than DeLeo.
Yep, I agree with you there. Now it opens the door for the 21 down low. Comes back in line and is going to wait a few more laps. But Hunter, like I said, we saw it at Darlington. Shanewood was the class of the field, and in that last run when he got out in front, he just used his stuff up too quick. I'm just wondering if he's done it again.
Oh, 4 in the wall. Paul Irvin in the wall. Clip that wall coming out of turn 2. No caution yet. We're still green. Might need to get a camera back
I
there.
might need to go back to the 4 because he's got the 28 back on his outside, and we saw what happened last time these two were close to each other. Looks like it's going to be no issue.
Nah, he's coming down pit road.
That was curious.
It definitely gave me flashbacks to what happened earlier in the race. So we've now got 10 laps to go here at Michigan. The Irish Hills 152 playoff drivers battling for the win. James Shanewood on the 2-race winning streak, trying to make it 3 in a row, but Dominic DeLeo dead last in the points amongst the playoff drivers heading into tonight's race. Looking to win and secure his spot into the championship 4.
He's looking sporty, man. Like he's not letting. It doesn't look like the 31 is beating the 21 in any place on the racetrack. It looks like the 21 is just a little bit better all around right now. Other important note, though, Hunter, Ford didn't have to drop since third all the way back to 11th now. Ford coming back out on track again.
Comes back up right in front of the 28. He's in the wall. Eli Green has hit the wall. Scraped it just a bit there in turn 2. Still green flag racing here at Michigan. That's Dominic DeLeo really close to the bumper of James Shanewood. I think that was the closest he ever got to it.
Yeah, I thought he was even peeking down low, it looked like, for a second or two there, but wasn't able to do that. And now Shanewood going to use that strategy you were talking about earlier, Hunter, where he's kind of snaking his way down these straightaways.
What that does, though, is it gives the 21 a bit of a better run. Couldn't quite do it. He did gain about a tenth or 100th, excuse me. He gained about 100th going down the bottom, but going back into the corner entry, it really helped out the 21 just a bit better. Fourth, Paul Irvin looking like he's got the.
Yeah,
Looks like he's got fresher tires.
Very, like, I think he came down pit road, like you said, Hunter, and just put new tires on and came back out. But at this point, he's 18 laps down. I don't really know what he's gaining from that, other than being right here in the middle of this finish.
I'll say, we already saw what happened when he was racing with drivers second, third, fourth on the racetrack. Looks like he's staying behind them.
Yep, he is staying behind him at least for the moment, but still got the battle for the lead between both these drivers. It's Shanewood and Dominic DeLeo just trying to find a way to make that move.
Boy, the 4 of Irvin is really mixing things up. And now the 21 has a good shot at the lead going into turn 1.
And he peaked, but
Nah,
he didn't make the move.
couldn't quite do it. I don't know if it's the 4 of, well, now the 4 of Paul Irvin's definitely
Yeah, definitely hurting the 21 now.
and he's blinking too. Not really sure what is going on there with the 4. But now he's going to be on the outside of the leader, Shane Wolf. This might hurt his corner exit.
Definitely. I don't understand it. Honestly, it's very interesting to watch here. And now he's going to pull off because series director Brad Sutter informed him that he was leaving there. So that was interesting.
Yeah, well, now we've got 5 laps to go here in Michigan. 2 playoff drivers trying to secure their spot in the championship 4. James Shanewolf once again looking to make it 3 in a row, and Dominic DeLeo looking to get his first win of the year. Boy, it's going to be tight at the finish.
Remember, Hunter, this is something we haven't mentioned for some reason. The winner of this race has a ticket to the Final Four at Phoenix.
Yeah, they secure their spot in that championship 4. Oh, DeLeo just can't quite get a good enough run down on the bottom.
4 to go now here at Michigan.
Oh, really close. I would say the only way he can get around him is if he uses that chrome horn, but now he's got a, well, had a run there, just tucks back in line. Boy, it's a gaggle of cars for that 3rd spot back there. Looks like 4 or 5 cars battling for position.
Yeah, there's the battle back there, but the battle in front just as intriguing between DeLeo and James Shane of Christensen. Rick Christensen's going to jump to 3rd in the 19. A good run for him as we hit the stripe. We got 3 laps to go.
They're 3 wide back there. Eli Green, Gary Lewis, Jeremy Horn.
Yep. Gary Lewis. You mentioned him, Hunter, coming on strong here in this last run. Oh, it's going to be close.
That is going to be very close. Oh, I'm not liking it. It's in turn 2 also.
Jeremy Horn on the top, though. They're going to make it work.
Forrest Smith going to help his teammate. Oh, very close between Lewis and Dustin Carroll in the 92, but still, the 6-car battle for 3rd back there. But once again, 2 laps to go in Michigan, battle for the lead, still heating up between Shane Wolf and Dominic DeLeo.
I like DeLeo that time by staying up high and making James go down to...
Oh, he's going down! Oh, he's so close. He is so close. It's going to come down to turn 3. If DeLeo is close enough, he is going to use that front bumper to move the 31 out of the way to get in. I can just see it.
100%. Well, I don't know. Oh, here comes the shot now. It looks like maybe going down to turn 3.
Don't want to make it too soon.
He's going to have a good run here off of turn 4. It looks like he can get it to stick.
They come off turn 4, white flag in the air, 1 more lap to go, and Michigan, presented by One to Go Studios. The 21 of DeLeo looking low, coming back on the outside. Now down low, going into turn 1. Shane Wolf on the outside. DeLeo down low. He's sending it in. They make contact. Shane Wolf into the wall. Dominic DeLeo with the lead. Hand off turn 2, down the back stretch for the final time. An unreal move. Thought it would occur in turn 3, but Dominic DeLeo gave it his all. He had the fastest car on the racetrack. Catching the leader was one thing. Passing him was another. He sent it going into turn 1, and that just might be the race-winning move. Oh, contact close from the 55 of Adam Capps, but Dominic DeLeo pulls it off and upsets James Shanewolf at Michigan, and he punches his ticket to the championship 4.
Wow. Oh, wow. And how about Rick Christensen coming home 3rd and James Shanewolf with the 2nd place finish. But Dominic DeLeo, the first driver to punch his ticket to Phoenix in the number 21.
Boy, that was very close from Adam Capps in the 55, and it looked like DeLeo was about to slam it to the back of Adam Capps there, but an impressive drive, an impressive victory. His first win on the year, Dominic DeLeo gets it done, and he is the first driver to punch his ticket to the championship 4 at Phoenix. Now that move he made going into turn 1, I believe it is known as the Louisiana Dive Bomb, although it's more notably used in turn 3 or turn 4 even. But very odd to see a send like that going into turn 1. Nonetheless, Dominic DeLeo doing burnouts. And as I mentioned, just 1 day ago, he was practicing with his teammate Mark Patterson of Fazekas Motorsports, and he was The lap times that he ran were very, very close to the fastest times that we've seen in the race and in qualifying. Just wow, what an amazing victory that is for Fizikis Motorsports and Dominic DeLeo.
First career win for the 21 of Dominic DeLeo Hunter, and you got a chance to catch up with him.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring him up. Our race winner, Dominic DeLeo. Dominic, how's it going? Hunter, Harold, and Jake in the booth.
I'm glad to be hearing your voice, man. Got at a loss for words. That was quite the battle there at the end. I'm still catching my breath. I don't really have any words right now. I'm sure I'll get some when you ask some questions here.
Did you think coming into tonight, Dom, that you were going to be the first one to punch your ticket to Phoenix with a win?
No shot, Jacob. I've been getting consistently better. I started iRacing like 3 months ago, and I think our first race at Homestead, the first race I was in, I got my computer that Friday, so that Monday was 3 days. But just we had a couple points battles here to get, and decided to just try and get points. But I didn't think I was going to be there. Around the first green flag run, I was catching the leaders, so thought I had a pretty good long run car, which showed. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
I'm I'm at a loss of words too. I thought you were going to make the move going into turn 3, which is the turn that we see it happen most of the time. But oddly enough, it happens in the turn 1. I mean, I knew, and we all knew that you had the faster car. Catching was one thing, passing was a whole nother thing. Just what a drive, what a victory! Congrats on the win, Dominic. Are there any shouts you want to give out before you go?
Yeah, first I just want to apologize to the 83 there. 31, his 83 is his number in real life, I guess. 31, James, just hell of a race. He's better than me every which way, and I really wasn't trying to wreck him there going into 1, just trying to get it to stick, and I just couldn't get past him. But I just wanted to make that clear first. I want to thank my wife for always supporting the hobbies, allowing me to put a sim rig in our guest bedroom. I want to thank all the friends and family watching. My mom, my grandma, my grandfather, who Fizikis Motorsports is named after. Mark Patterson, the 51, who's just been a godsend, talking things out as far as strategy goes, running with me, giving me somebody to talk to while these races. Steve's watching, Corey's watching, brother Robert's probably watching. I want to thank Eat Sleep Race, the sponsor. They're doing a great job moving on to bigger and better things in their new building in Edison, and just want to thank you guys, the broadcast, Hunter, Jacob, Harold, Wondergo Studios, Swift Lifestyles, everybody putting on. Excited to punch my ticket in, and looking forward to next week at Kentucky, I believe. Is it Kentucky?
Kansas.
Pretty close.
Starts with a K.
It doesn't matter for you now. You get to go into Kansas with no pressure because you already know that you're going to be one of the final 4 at Phoenix. Dom, congrats, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Absolutely. That was the 21 of Dominic DeLeo race winner, and now we're going to move on to a little bit more of an interesting interview, I believe.
Dude,
with
we're good.
the hey, James, we got you up here now. I heard you talking. I wanted to jump in before maybe we heard something we might not have.
No, dude, it's all good, man. It's all good.
But a second place run, James, 61 laps led. I have a feeling if you didn't come into this race with a lot of playoff points, you might be feeling a little bit different right now. But talk us through that last lap.
Man, I cannot blame Dom for it, man. I was heated. I'm not gonna lie. I was very upset when it first happened. He throttled up and used me up, which, I mean, it's fine, man. I understand the spot he's in and the points and with the playoffs. I've never had any issues with the guy before. So it was just a move out of desperation, trying to lock in, and it worked for him, man. You can't be mad about that, He did what he had to do. That's what this playoff format causes. It's going to cause drama like that. It's going to cause moves like that, and it's good for the broadcast and good to get the league out there, man. And I can't be mad at him for it.
Well, you're definitely being way more gracious than I think most would have been in that position. But, James, you did have a good race. Let's talk about, the 61 laps led in the second place run tonight. That's going to help a lot with the playoff points you already came in here with tonight. So ultimately, you're going to be in good shape heading to Kansas next week. And, maybe we'll still probably end up seeing you there in the Final 4.
Yeah, going to do our best. I think we're pretty solid on points. So it's not like Kansas is a must-win. Just go out there, have a good run, and hopefully make it to Phoenix and try and get it done then.
I was gonna say after the run that Matthew Robinson had, he finished 9th. I would say you're in a pretty good position to make it into the next round, heading into Kansas. Are there any shout-outs you want to give out before you go?
Yeah, shout out to Elite Entertainment. Adam Caps, all he does for me. I don't know who was more upset about the last move when it first happened, me or him, but we calmed each other down. So it's all good. Shout out to CNC Logging, Transcendent Designs. First time I get to say that in an interview. Pretty cool. New sponsor on board this week, 24/7 Race Control. Shout out to those guys. Or Sim Services, sorry. They do race control, broadcasting, whole 9 yards. I'm not trying to take away from one to go. You guys are awesome. No conflict of interest there, I promise. And shout out to you guys here in the broadcast booth, Jacob Bell, all the admins. Jacob, what is that guy's name that watches the races, man? I heard he's not doing too good. I cannot think
You
of
got
his name
Randy.
right now. Randy, yes.
From Hendry County Dirt Track, absolutely.
Yes. Shout out to him, man. I heard he's pretty sick. Didn't make it to the track this weekend, but I'm sure he's tuning in, getting his racing fix. Real cool to have somebody watching each week that has no part and nobody in the league to watch for, just out of love of racing. So shout out to him, man. We appreciate you. I know a lot of us here appreciate you. And yeah, man, that's about it. We'll go on to Kansas and try and get it done. We couldn't do it for Dale tonight, but we'll try and rebound next week.
Absolutely. Well, congrats on a solid run here tonight, James, and we definitely will see you back here Wednesday night, I believe, as well, and in the Lodge Box series, but also next week for the final race in the round of 8 in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series.
Hey man, I'm second in points in trucks. I'm eliminated in the Lodge Box. Come on now.
You're right.
I think you're missing one.
Well, we'll see you back tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll see y'all, man. Hopefully I get to talk to y'all.
And that was the 31 of James Shainwolf, and now you're going to get a chance to talk to somebody we haven't talked to in quite a while. The 19 of Rick Christensen squeezes his way up there for a third place run tonight. Rick, how'd you feel out there tonight, man? It's been a long time since we've seen you up here in the top 3.
Yeah, I've been kind of just starting in the back to stay out of guys' ways. You know, I don't want to interfere with the playoffs and stuff. So I took a few races off. I was a little frustrated and kind of lost interest and came back. I just want to stay out of guys' ways. And I mean, I'm going to race, but I don't want to cause any issues. So if I can get to the front, I'll go. But so that's what I did. I'm able to save my tires pretty good, and it's a pretty good long run speed.
I was say you were in a gaggle of cars, and you were one of the drivers in a 6-car battle there for third. And it's unfortunate that we couldn't get a good look at it because of the battle for the lead going on. But what was that like in the last 5 laps or so? Just drivers jockeying for position.
Yeah, I was just trying to get runs. I mean, it's so important to get runs down the straightaway. And obviously when they're racing so hard, they're going to drive it in pretty deep. So I was just setting the car real early and just getting in the gas as soon as I could so I could get that run down the straightaways. And I was able to get by, who was it? Jeremy and Eli Green. Well, tell Jeremy Horn he had a really nice run today. That was nice to see. He used to be a teammate of mine a few years back. So, but yeah, it was just all about getting those runs down the straightaway. And like I said, I'm able to save my right front pretty good, so I can get in the gas pretty early.
Oh, I thought I need a drink really quick.
All good. I'll step in here, Rick. Well, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to tonight? Third place run. I see Infinite Gaming on that race car. Who helps you get it done week in and week out?
Yep, of course, Infinite, and we got RB Customs on the car. I want to thank all our sponsors: Swift Lifestyles, Northern Capital Lodge Box, the admins. I think this is probably the best bunch of admins I've ever raced with. So kudos to them. And the broadcasts are unbelievable. I mean, you guys are really, really good. And I want to thank my teammates, Caleb and JJ. They're getting better. JJ's not a circle tracker, so he's trying to learn a lot of stuff. He has problems with that right front wearing out, but we've been trying to figure some stuff out for him, and Caleb has been running pretty good. So our team's been doing better, and that's all I can ask for.
Well, good deal, Rick. Happy to see you back here, man, and hopefully we see you back next week at Kansas as well. So congrats on a third place.
Yep, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too, man. And that was the 19er Rick Christensen. Hunter, take a look at the results, man. Dom DeLeo getting it done here tonight in Michigan.
Yeah, Dominic DeLeo with the upset win at Michigan, dethroning James Shanewell from making a three-peat. He led the most laps, though, so got a bonus point there, leading 61 out of the 75 laps. Rick Christensen with a solid third-place finish that any of these next five guys could have had. They were all within battle. Gary Lewis, Jeremy Horn rounding out the top five, then Eli Green, Dustin Carroll, and Forrest Smith. All those guys had a good battle going on for third, but because of the battle up front, couldn't quite see it. But nonetheless, solid effort from all of those guys. And then Matthew Robinson only finishing ninth after having a yellow come out at the wrong time for him. And then J.J. Wang with a nice top 10.
Has some surprising names really sprinkled in through that top 10 there. You know, you look at Jeremy Horn, Rick Christensen, a lot of non-playoff guys are going to make it interesting going into next week at Kansas. Cliff Mullins brings it home 11th. Good run for Cliff. Glad to see him back out here as well. Playoff drivers, Caleb Steimer come home 12th, and Sean Corker on 13th in the number 22. Rick Ward finishes 14th, and Mark Patterson 15th, last driver on the lead lap. Eric Shugart, the number 2, is going to come home 16th. 17th, Nicholas Halda. 18th, Adam Capps. 19th was Travis back there tonight, and 20th was Paul Irvin in the number 4. And those were our 20 finishers tonight of our Irish Hills 150 at Richmond, or at Michigan.
Still stuck on Richmond after the battles and the chaos that we've seen transition into the Irish Hills of Michigan. So we'll take a look at your Elwood Designs race recap. Dominic DeLeo led 4 laps, and he led the last one, which mattered the most. Won the race after a race that involved 3 cautions for 9 laps. 20 drivers were in the field, and I was looking through and confirmed that he did get the fastest lap of the race at a 39.403. Jake Harold, any final thoughts before we wrap things up here in Michigan?
I just think, we looked at the results. We saw the different non-playoff drivers up there in the mix. DeLeo came in tonight as the 8th seed, and he's the only one who's locked in now to the final 4. So very curious to see how the results stack up with the points. And I think we're going to have a great race next week at Kansas.
Yeah, definitely
Harold,
a big turnaround. Great run for Dominic DeLeo. Like James Shanewell, like he said, it's the last lap. Anything goes on the last lap, and he waited till the last lap. That's the important thing.
Yeah, an unbelievable finish to the race. Congrats to Dominic DeLeo on the win. I know he has a big following here in the chat, and good to see him get his first win, and that's at the right time too. And we mentioned that he had a good 2 races, but because of the points reset in the round of 8, he moved down to last. But nonetheless, he was still having a solid run, and his lap times earlier on matched up to what they were tonight from his practice run on Sunday. And it looks like that'll do it from us here. You can tune in tomorrow night for the Northern Capital Truck Series as they start their round of 8 at the same racetrack, and then Wednesday night, the Lodge Box Series. And then Thursday night, the Sim Speed Shop Cup Series. And that's going to do it here from all of us to executive producer Harold Darner and Jacob Bell. I'm Hunter Sleppy saying so long, and we'll see you another time.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.